The evidence seems to indicate that you're watching Dolly Vision.
Chopping up Dolly Vision's dreaming real. Two crime scene blast feel so unreal. YouTube madness like share, subscribe. Jack's on fire, burning the world's fire. Where's the baby missing shadows crawl? People whisper footsteps down the hall. Fingerprints of the dead, cold as stone. He's got the scoop, there's the rock down known. Dolly Vision headlines, King the Beat. Truth unravels, crackling through the heat. Lost soul shouting, echoes in the night. Rock the truth while live on air light. Chopping up Dolly Vision's dreaming real. True crime scene blast feel so unreal. YouTube madness like share, subscribe. Jack's on fire, burning the world's fire. Where's the baby missing shadows crawl? People whisper footsteps down the hall. Fingerprints of the dead, cold as stone. He's got the scoop, best around town known. Dolly Vision headlines, King the Beat. Truth unravels, crackling through the heat. Lost soul shouting, echoes in the night. Rock the truth while live on air light.
YouTube, where's the babies? Where's the babies? That is the question we're asking. Going on 5 weeks of little Jack and Lily Sullivan missing our Pictou County, Nova Scotia, without a trace. These kids are just vanishing, poof, gone in the thin air. But before we get into all that, I'm going to need you guys to leave your DNA all over that like button just in case a riot breaks out in your town and Dolly got to come save you. Okay? There's a lot of riots going on right now, a lot of riots. People rioting about everything. But if somebody's blocking traffic and you can't get through, Dolly will run them over for you. Okay? But I'm going to need you to leave your DNA all over the like button, all over the like button. And of course, guys, we hit 67,000. That is a lot. But you know what's even more than that? 68, baby. We on the road to 68,000 subscribers. So we're going to need your help. If you're out there watching and you're not subbed up to the channel yet, Dolly needs you. I need your help to hit 68,000 people. I can't do it without you. I can't do it without you. So sub up the channel. Ring the bell for notifications, and of course, feel free to share my ugly face on any social media platform you choose. Now, listen, I got to give my warnings real quick. I'll try to make it fast. Dolly Vision's for entertainment purposes only. We talk news, rumors, gossip, speculation, theories mixed with a little bit of comedy and a whole lot of chaos. So don't take nothing here as fact. It's just my opinion, people. Completely satire. The callers, because we are opening up the phone lines today. Your opinions are yours and yours alone, not to reflect on Dolly. Don't get me sued, people. Also, everyone is innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. And by now, y'all should know this. Don't try to be Dolly at home. It's dangerous. And I'm not responsible for your ass, okay? If you try to be me, the last person ended up door dashing and crashing. You don't need that in your life. You don't need it. Don't need it. Okay, so don't try to be Dolly. Okay, 5 weeks in. Absolutely. Okay, so speaking of passport fun, let me share this screen with you guys real quick. so you can hear the super chats as they come in, and we can hear the phone lines when I open them up. I have taken care of stuff to get my social security card, my real ID so I can fly, and my passport. So this week coming up, well, not this week, I'm waiting on everything to get here in the mail. And then next week, I will be down at the DMV getting everything ready. So if I do decide to go to Canada, I will have everything ready to do that. So, boy, mom, thank you so much for your donation to the channel and for everybody that's coming by, supporting, liking, sharing, caring about these missing kids. It's really important, guys, because to me, this is all about awareness. That's it. Okay. Awareness, awareness, awareness. And the reason why it's so important is because the Canadian media is not giving this case much attention. Okay. In the province of where they're at, maybe a little bit in their small areas, but nationwide in Canada, it's not that big of a deal. And of course, in the United States, our media is not talking about Jack and Lily at all. Now, I believe my brothers and sisters in Canada deserve better than that. They deserve for the world to know about Jack and Lily, because every kid on this planet matters. Not just kids in the United States, but every kid around this globe, especially ones. Oh, yeah. Thank you guys for joining up, especially these kids that are coming up missing when there's alleged foul play possibly involved. And I do believe in the case of Jack and Lily Sullivan, there is some foul play. I do not believe these kids ran out into the woods. I do not believe these kids have been abducted. Okay, that only leaves one other thing. The people on that property, in my opinion, know what happened to Jack and Lily. And I believe everybody in Daniel's family that was at that home that day knows. Now, there's some confusion about the brother living somewhere else, but the mother definitely lives on that property. And according to Daniel and Malia, the kids went out in the back and they were playing. They could hear the kids. But that's kind of sketchy story, because their story is constantly evolving or changing. But the mother of Daniel didn't hear the kids in her front yard, because if they go out the back, they are.
Thank you for all you do.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for your super sticker. That is awesome of you. And thank you for everybody joining up and becoming a member. How did she not hear these kids? Okay. And, you know, for a long time, there was misinformation out there that there was a boot print at the end of the driveway and the kids were gone. It made it sound like the kids were abducted. Ooh, boot print, end of the driveway, kids are gone. Somebody must have put them in a car. But come to find out, in Daniel's own words, there was never no boot print at the end of the driveway. There was 2 boot prints 10 feet from the back sliding glass door in the backyard that allegedly belonged to the kids. So there's no signs that these kids were abducted. There's no, right now, we know the police have all the video footage from around the area. It took them a little while to get that, right? They didn't get it quickly, but they eventually got it. And they've been going over all these hours of video footage from trail cams and doorbell cams in the area that Jack and Lily went missing. And they haven't put out no bulletins looking for a strange vehicle. Okay. And a bigger question is this. We know they were caught on video the day before Jack and Lily went missing. Did them kids ever make it back home that night? Or was that the last time they were ever on that property on Gerlach Road? I myself, I'm kind of leaning towards them kids may have never came home that night. And let me tell you why I think this. Let me tell you, okay? Because when they tell their story, they talk about, oh, well, we woke up, we were in and out of consciousness, we could hear the kids. Oh, yeah. And then we stopped hearing the kids and we immediately checked. Well, if you immediately checked, you would have found the kids. They couldn't have got that far that fast, right? That's just one red flag. We immediately checked for these kids. But their story was so inconsistent and they didn't tell about the day before. Why did it have to come out from the RCMP that they were in town the day before, shopping with family? And how come the parents never told about what they had for dinner, that they gave the kids a bath, that they put the kids down for bed. They read the kids a bedtime story. None of that stuff, right? None of those things even occurred. And, Lily was allegedly supposed to be sick. So you got this whole night where a mother doesn't check on her sick child. Just don't make any sense. Now, I've said from the beginning, one thing I've learned from traveling around the country, dealing with parents of missing kids, especially parents that have murdered their kids, Leilani Simon, is there's some type of disconnect from the kids. Now, I don't know what causes this disconnect. Some women in here say postpartum depression, things like this. Me, myself, I believe it's the children remind you of somebody you don't like. When these couples get into these relationships and then they split up and they grow this hatred for each other, and then you have a child that looks just like the person you hate. Prime example. To me, my daughter looks like my baby mama, right? A little bit, not a whole lot, but yeah, I can see the resemblance of I don't hate my baby mama. Okay, let me clear that up. I don't hate her. I'm just using this as an example. But I can see my daughter. I can see my baby's mama in my daughter. Right now, if let's say I hated my baby's mama, then that cause me some resentment when I see my daughter, because that's what it reminds me of. And I feel this was the case in the Leilani Simon situation, where she hated her baby's daddy. So therefore it made her hate the baby, okay, which was little baby Quentin Simon. She threw him in a dumpster. He ended up in a landfill. Trigger warning, parts of his remains are still in that landfill. They built a memorial out there for Quentin Simon in the landfill because they only got partial his remains out of landfill. He wasn't even completely found. Now, if this is the case, according to those text messages that came out, and y'all seen the deception detective doesn't believe these messages to be real. Now, Dolly does. I believe these messages are absolutely real. And apparently, the grandmother has hit up Dolly's channel. Okay? The biological grandmother of Jack and Lily. I told you. Guys, how many times I told you, any show I ever do, family members always come to this channel. And the biological grandmother has come. Okay? I knew this stuff was coming anyway. They eventually all end up here. Okay? They always do, no matter what case is being talked about. And, a lot of people do believe these messages are real, and that these stories, there's a disconnect between Malaya and her kids, even according to Daniel's messages himself. Now, if these messages are true, I'm going to say it like that because I have no way to verify the messages. Nobody does. But the two girls that put it out, they seem like genuinely good, honest people that just ain't up here lying, right? So I take it as the messages came from his account. Was it him talking or was it somebody else talking? There's no way to know. But allegedly a cousin came out, and that cousin echoed everything that alleged Daniel was saying. Now, to me, that's an alleged cousin too. There's no way to find out really if that was the cousin speaking. So there's really no way of knowing unless you're sitting right there beside them while they're doing it, if it's them. But I lean more towards this is factual information coming out, and this is contradicting what they told the police in the beginning, and it's contradicting what they told the media. Cousin came in swinging, okay? Now, the grandmother is skeptical, and this is the grandmother on the biological father side. She is suspicious of these people herself. You can just tell by the comments she left here. Now, I don't blame her. I don't blame her. She was that, Malaya had cut off contact with her years ago. But even if she hadn't, I would be sketchy of her anyway, just because of her behavior. The interview she done with the media, total lack of emotion, total just no emotion whatsoever. She looked like she was a little upset, but a lot of people say they did not see one tear roll out her eye, not even a crust of sand, like said, nothing. Nothing, right? And you would think a mother would be distraught, destroyed, I'm talking about ugly crying. And I'm talking about snot bubbles, just sobbing. You know, that
I heard the day they went missing someone called the school at 8 a.m. saying they were sick. That don't add up to 10 timeline.
now that messages, I don't know. Okay. According to Daniel's text messages, that didn't happen. Okay. That there wasn't no call to the school saying they wasn't going to show up. A lot of this still is rumor, okay, and speculation. I want to make sure everybody's clear. I don't want to be out here giving out misinformation or anything like that, okay? These missing kids is not the place to make up shit and lie, okay? So we don't know. That's why I try to clarify everything. Like, we don't know if those were his messages. We don't know if that was the cousin. But in my opinion, I absolutely believe it was. And for somebody that didn't want to talk, he did an awful lot of talking. Okay. I mean, he did a lot. He did an awful lot. And no wonder he started a YouTube channel. He's a talker. Now, I still don't believe Daniel. A lot of people after the last week or so, they have started to side with Daniel, the stepfather, right? Now, me myself, I never pick a side in missing kids cases. Y'all seen that with Sebastian Rogers? I never picked a side because I feel like if you pick a side and you become friendly with anybody, I ain't saying that you can't speak with them. I'm just saying if you're buddy with them, you don't want to believe your friends can be guilty, or you won't dig as deep into them as you probably should have because you believe they're good people because they're acquaintances with you. Now, I have no problem with speaking with people, but I know I draw a line. I am not your friend. Okay. I'm not your friend up here on the internet. I'm not anybody's friend in any of these missing cases in the beginning. Now, there's people up here I consider my friends now that have been cleared of missing kid cases. If you said, Dolly, is Brandy Neal your friend? I would say, yeah, I look at her as a friend. I would do anything for that girl. I feel so terribly bad for her. But if you was to say, people that haven't been cleared, like it's Seth Rogers, Chris Proudfoot, Don and Candace Wells, are these people your friends? And I would say absolutely not. Definitely not my friends. The only thing I'm here for is these kids. I'm not here to make friends, okay? I'm here to try to find answers for these kids that don't have a voice. That's it, right? So I don't worry about how many bridges I burn along the way because I'm not coming back that way, okay? I'm moving forward always. I'm not turning around and backing up, okay? That ain't how it happens. You know what I'm saying? I ain't turning around. So if the bridge burns down, fuck it. I don't need it anyway. All right. So these kids don't just vanish. And we all know that as a true crime community, right? We know kids don't just vanish. We know aliens don't get them. We know Bigfoot don't get them. El Chupacabras don't get them. Usually when these kids go missing, what's the new news? Angie B, you got to listen to what we're talking about here. Okay. Nowhere in the title does it say there's some new big news. Okay. There's no big new news. It just don't look good for these children. And you see right beside me, it says, this is not good. And it's not. It's absolutely not, because we have a mother that's not out there searching for her kids. We got a mother that's not screaming from the rooftops. We got a mother who has lawyered up. Okay. We got a mother saying, if you want answer any questions, talk to my lawyer. I'm not saying shit. Why? Why is this happening? This is not normal behavior of a mother of a missing child. Not in my opinion. Okay. This is the behavior of somebody that has something to do with their children going missing. It kind of blows my mind that this story is not national across America, okay? That it's not national across Canada. These kids are important. They need to be found. There needs to be answers for them. There needs to be some transparency with the RCMP. And a lot of Canadians say, Dolly, you're from America. You don't know about Canadian police. You don't know shit. And you're pretty much right. Okay, you're pretty much right. But here's the thing: is when something like this happens, you owe us some transparency. You it takes a village to raise a child, Canada. Okay, they can't be raised by geese. It takes a village to raise these kids. And if that's the case, then we deserve answers of what's going on. If the police have absolutely nothing, then shame on them, right? Shame on them. How could they not see these red flags? Or is it that they don't have evidence and that's the reason they haven't charged these people? But kids go missing and there's no proof, and nobody goes to jail. That only happens in certain places. It don't happen in my state. We have convicted 13 people in the state of Virginia with nobody and almost zero evidence that people have done anything. True. Prime example, the latest case that just passed was Cody Bigsby. Cody Bigsby, beautiful little young boy. His daddy killed him, allegedly. Okay. I don't have to say allegedly. He's in jail for second-degree murder. Okay, convicted. So he killed his son. He hid his body and won't tell where the boy's body is. Zero proof that Corey Bigsby, his father, killed him. Zero. None. I was at the whole trial in the court, and I was like, what is one thing that proves he did this? Now, his other son did see Cody non-responsive, okay? But never seen his daddy kill him, never. So there was really never no proof, legitimate proof, that Corey Bigsby murdered Cody Bigsby. He just had inconsistent stories. Oh, I seen him here. I left the kid home. He vanished. It was enough that a jury in my state of Virginia convicted him in 30 minutes of second-degree murder. Okay? 40 years for second-degree murder in the state. Nobody. He ain't the first person that's happened to here. You go killing people here in Virginia and you can't explain where your child just magically went that you was supposed to be taken care of, you go to jail here. Criminal child neglect is a serious thing. It carries 10 years in prison in the States. Okay, it's a felony charge. It carries 10 to 20 years in prison just for not watching your kid. Simple child neglect is this. You wasn't watching your kid. So why are these people, if Malaya ain't going to talk, if she's not going to talk and she's not going to cooperate with the authorities, why not go ahead and arrest her? Right? Because a lot of people would say, well, if they arrest them, they're going to lawyer up and they're not going to talk at all. Well, she's already lawyered up. She's not going to talk at all anyway. Okay? So why don't we go ahead and bring the heat down on her RCMP and let's put some pressure on this family. Let's start locking some fucking people up. All right? Let's put some people in jail at this point. It's been 5 weeks. You got nothing. Okay? You know how long it would have took me to break these people? I'd have broke them in the first week. They'd have spent the first 272 hours in jail because that's how long you can hold people without charging them. I'd have got them in there, turned them on each other so they couldn't communicate outside of this, cut off communications to their families. But that one phone call, you get one phone call, that's it. And then turn up the heat on them until they break. And when they if they don't start to break, you start charging them with different counts of child neglect until they tell on one another. This case should have been easily solved, I believe. It's just my thought. I believe that at this point, Malaya's ass should be sitting in jail for criminal child neglect. Now, as a police officer, I would continue to let Daniel get out there and speak. I wouldn't arrest him yet. Because there's the threat that he may lawyer up and shut up. And listen, another huge red flag, before I forget this, is Malaya said that the police didn't want her talking. There's never been a crime in history of the world, I'm talking globally, that the police didn't want a suspect or a person of interest to talk. Okay. And some people out here don't believe that Malaya is a person of interest. Listen, if you believe she is not a person of interest, you need to turn over your looking glass, your detective looking glass. You need to get off YouTube as a true crime creator, because the first people that have to be cleared in the disappearance of a child is the family first. Now, we ain't heard the police come out and clear Daniel or Malaya, so that means there's still people of interest. That means there's still suspects in this case. We ain't even heard the magic word vetted, okay? Even in Sebastian Rogers' case, Katie Proudfoot, Chris Proudfoot, the police came out and said, listen, we vetted the parents. Everything they seem to be saying so far is adding up. And the internet, they didn't even want to take that. We're like, oh, vet, what the hell does vetted mean, right? Because everybody's convinced Chris Proudfoot had something to do with the disappearance of Sebastian Rogers. And I believe he may have some knowledge, but I don't believe he was there. And I don't believe he is the cause of whatever happened that night. Okay. Something transpired in that home in Hendersonville, Tennessee, and we're still to where we're at now. And that's gone over a year and a half. So when there's no signs of foul play, which there's no signs of foul play far as blood, listen, of course you're going to find hair and other things in a house that kids live in. You may even find a little bit of blood. Just say I vanished. Okay. I'm going to use this as a prime example. PJ lives with me. I had a tooth pulled the other day. So I went and I spit into the bathtub. And when I did, blood went everywhere. This sounds gross, right? But my tooth was bleeding really bad from where they pulled it. And I didn't think it was that bad. I thought I was just going to spit out some saliva and, rinse the tub out. But when I spit, blood went everywhere. I mean, just everywhere. So just say if I came up missing right now, I'm sure they would find that blood. I cleaned it up good, though. I bleached and cleaned all the blood up. But I'm sure you would find blood in this house that belongs to me from either stepping on glass or things like that. If a crime scene is too clean, right? If it's too clean. Now, that don't sound like that's a clue, but in the Sebastian Rogers case, if you're not finding footprints, you're not finding any type of anything that says this kid has been there or this person has been in this home, to me, that is a red flag. Okay. It's a red flag if there's a lack of evidence. Okay. Lack of evidence to me is, like I said, you would know I was in this house. Teeth hurt as bad as labor pains to me. It's bad. My jaw here is still swollen from that. And I had a really bad tooth extraction because the root broke off in my tooth. So they had to go in and get this root out, which was really painful. That's why I was bleeding so bad. I didn't know I was bleeding. So when I spit down the drain of the tub, I just thought it was going to be some spit, but no, blood went everywhere. I mean, when I mean everywhere, I mean it went everywhere. I know it sounds nasty, but if anybody's had a tooth pulled or you've cut yourself pretty bad, you're going to bleed in your house. There's going to be blood there. Okay. Your blood is going to be somewhere present in that house. Or if you even cut yourself on something. Where are these kids at? Right? And what needs to be done to get some justice for these kids? Dolly, have your dentist called you in magic mouthwash? It's awesome. No, I got some mouthwash that they're using and that I use. It's like antibiotics that I'm taking and all kinds of things. They make me kind of nauseous, to be honest with you. But I got to take them so I don't get some infection and die. But yeah, enough about my tooth. The video is about these kids and who is responsible for the disappearance of these kids. Police ruled out pretty much. Well, they can't say they completely ruled out, but they've ruled out most of is there abduction? Did somebody grab these kids? Now, we got to remember the chances of some kidnapper just being in the middle of nowhere in Pictou County. And I ain't saying it can't happen because there's some weirdos in Pictou County. All right, we spoke to a lot of people from Pico County, and there's a few weird ones amongst you guys out there, my Canadian brothers and sisters. Y'all got some weird ones, just like in America. We got a whole ton of weird ass people, but y'all got a few weird ones too. And around that time, there was people that was reported creeping around on kids. Okay, there was one that happened at a baseball field. A teenager, somebody pulled up on him, tried to get him to get in the vehicle, and there was some reports of a suspicious vehicle right around the time these kids went missing. So is it impossible? I would say no, it's not impossible that somebody could have kidnapped these kids. I just think it's highly unlikely. And usually kidnappings or something like this that occur is somebody that the family is familiar with. Let's just say there is a kidnapper out there. I don't believe it to be a stranger, because a stranger wouldn't know those kids were there unless these kids had been getting out playing in the road, playing in, but according to Daniel and Malaya, these kids were never unsupervised and they would play in the backyard. And if you're going down that street, you can't see in the backyard of the trailer because the trailer sits sideways. It don't sit long ways. It sits like this. So if they're playing back here, like how many fingers am I holding up? Right now. Somebody tell me. Anybody can tell me how many fingers I'm holding up? You can't. You know why? Because you can't see it. Now, if I move the trailer, hey, there's two of them, right? There's two fingers. But with the trailer blocking it, you can't even tell what's going on with my fingers back here. See what I'm saying? They're wiggling. Look. You can't even tell. Look, fingers, no fingers. No fingers, no fingers. You can't tell. So you wouldn't know just driving down the street unless these kids were playing in the front part of that trailer and maybe a predator seen them. But then you would have to sit there and wait for them to get out the house. How would you know the kids were even going to get out the house? So I pretty much would say 98% chance that abduction never happened. There's that lightning strike that could get you, that the kids did get abducted in these. But even if they did, let's just say they did. Let's say a kidnapper at this point came in, snatched Jack and Lily. Why would the mother go lawyer up? Why would the mother not be searching? Why would the mother not be doing the best she could to bring answers to these kids? Unless you just didn't care about your kids. And now that goes back to Daniel saying that these kids are not connected to Malaya. He's potty trained them. When they need something, they go to him. Do these kids even look at her in a motherly way? Now, we look at old pictures of Malaya. She looked a lot better. Now, some people say, Dolly, they filters. I don't give a damn what they are. She looked better. She looked healthier. She looked in better spirits. Of course, her kids wasn't missing. I mean, that could be the reason. And she had the kids with her. And when we see the pictures of Jack and Lily, before Daniel, these kids looked loved and cared for in a good environment. After that, the kids go missing, and we see what looks like a damn Breaking Bad meth lab coming out of Nova Scotia. Okay, now listen, I don't want to talk bad about people that are poor. I'm broke. Okay, I mean, I ain't completely broke. I mean, I got food in my fridge, but I mean, I'm not rich. Okay, there's a lot of rich YouTubers out here. I guess people watch YouTube and they think everybody on YouTube is rich. Like, you got a few subscribers, people, for some magical reason think you some rich ass fucking dude. So I get it. But what I'm saying is you could spend a little bit of time cleaning your yard. Like yesterday, my kid came over. We had a little cookout. We jumped in the pool. I did some weed eating. You know what I'm saying? Now, I could have skipped the weed eating, and I didn't even have to do the weed eating. But it makes my yard look better. Okay? And so I got out there and I cut some of the grass. If there's some paper on the ground, I pick it up, throw it in the trash. The paper plates and stuff from the cookout, I take it and throw it away. I don't got old refrigerators and old stoves and just all that crazy stuff scattered through my yard. When I got two young kids that live there, it's a safety hazard to, it puts the kids in an unsafe environment. Now, I don't know if they, the rumors are true that CPS or social services or whatever y'all call it there in Canada. I'm just going to call it CPS. It's easier for me, but I know it's called something different in Canada. that CPS was involved in this. There's a lot of rumors in the beginning, and I'm going to say rumors because I haven't been able to verify that was true.
Oh,
That at some
yeah.
point that Malaya had a run-in with CPS, with Child Protective Services, and at some point Lily may have possibly been in some type of foster care for a short time. Now I don't know if that is true, but I am seeing a mother right now that I do know is true that appears to have some type of disconnect from her kids and don't care like the average person would care. Well, not publicly. I don't know what this woman does behind closed doors. She could be crying. She could be banging her head on the wall. But I just don't think that's happening because nothing's happened publicly. Not only has Malaya shut
Oh,
down,
yeah.
thank you for joining, but her mother is shutting down. We really, Daniel, I'm going to buy you a shirt. Okay. We're going to send you a shirt. I think I have the address because every time I see this guy, he is wearing that same damn tap out shirt, right? Nobody, listen, Daniel, I don't want to be mean to you, brother, right? I don't know if you're guilty or not, but what I do know you're guilty of is needing more clothing, all right? Because you've been wearing that tap out shirt every interview for the last 5 weeks, okay? Not picking on you. I'm dead serious. I will send you a shirt. Nobody's wore a tap out shirt since fucking early 2000s, okay? Early 2000s when the creator of Tap Out was alive. It was a gentleman by the name of Mask. Okay, anybody remember Mask? Okay, he rest in peace to Mask. And then shortly after that, Tap Out, the company itself, the founder passed away. So it slowly kind of faded out of existence. And I guess the last known Tap Out shirt to exist is in Nova Scotia. You might want to hang it up. It might be a collector's item at this point. Okay, I would take it off. It may be worth money one day. I don't know. You got a last Tap Out shirt known to man, but every time I see him, he's wearing the same shirt. Now I'm hoping he's washing it between interviews or something, but I don't know because it looked like the wash machine's outside. I don't know, right? I just know that they're living in a bad environment, right? It's a bad environment for a kid. And it don't matter how poor you are. You can clean your yard up a little bit, right? You can live in a dump and go into it and the house be clean. Okay. And we're not, I don't know. And then we still haven't heard nothing from Daniel's mother. We haven't heard anything from his brother. Remember this guy? Laid back on the four-wheeler like this, and the four-wheeler is clean. It's cleaner than anything on the property. Okay, clean. And everybody thinks that something happened with this four-wheeler because it's so damn clean. So just think about this. Every theory that can be presented has already been presented on YouTube. I think if you look at a majority of the channels across the board in true crime, some of them are really good channels and some of them are bullshit channels. But I think everybody agrees that this family is super suspect. Not that they're guilty of anything, but they're super suspect. And I've said this in other cases. If Malaya is not guilty, she is the most guilty, innocent person I've ever seen. Okay? Far as behavior, because she's behaving like a guilty person. And now Daniel says he don't want people to pick on Malaya. Well, then Malaya needs to stop acting suspicious, right? Because the public is watching. Look, here's the thing. Your kid goes missing. You want the public watching. You want the public helping. You want everybody to know about your kids. That's why I've been pushing it hard as I humanly can, because I feel like they're not getting the attention that they deserve. That's why I've been pushing it so hard. Like the little bit of media that's coming out in Canada, and like I said, almost zero coverage here in America. We're more worried about immigrants in LA than we are about stuff that's important as far as these missing kids abroad. Like, there's a few things I think we fail as a country on. I think that's mental health, medical care for people here in this country, and our kids. I think all three of those. And if you look at it, 3 strikes, you're out. These things need to be fixed. And people are more worried about the things that don't matter than the things that do matter. And people don't got their priorities are a little effed up. The number one thing in this world, guys, is family, right? It's the people you love. It's community. It's those things. And a lot of times those things are always put on the back burner for things that are not as important. Like I would much rather turn on the news and find out information about people's loved ones being recovered or found or searching for than people sitting in traffic. Okay? Get the fuck out the road, people. You look like an idiot. But our media don't care, right? If they're more worried about what's going to bring ratings to their network, okay? And I mean, I can understand people want to see it. I know a lot of viewers here on YouTube like to see the craziness of everything. Everybody loves a train wreck, okay? Everybody does. But sometimes if nobody died in that train wreck or nobody's missing from that train wreck, there's things that are more important. Maybe Daniel doesn't know everything, but he knows something. He was there. Absolutely. And this is for the people, I would say, that have leaning towards Daniel's side. Okay, well, the stepdad's the only one looking. He was with her. Okay? And no matter how this played out, no matter how, if they were abducted, if they ran off into the woods, or if the mama unalived them, this man was there. It happened under his watch. Okay? And as a man, it's your job. And this is man law. It's to protect your family. It's instinctual to be a protector as a man. Okay, so he failed. Malaya failed. They failed these kids. I know it sounds harsh and it sounds mean, but it is absolutely true. Okay, there's no other way around it. If the kids wandered off, it was because the parents were being shitty that morning, not checking on their kids, not cooking them breakfast, not worried about what the kids were doing, and they were able to get this huge jump on their parents. You know, the kids were reported at 10, and we just didn't hear them. So how could they have got that far away from the police? How could they got out of an earshot if they had been missing as long as they said they had? Oh, they just been missing a couple minutes. And I jumped in the car and looked everywhere. Well, how could they have got that far away if you're telling the truth? Send Daniel a t-shirt, tap in. Okay, that's what he needs to do, is needs to tap into the truth. And I think he's covering for Malaya. I honestly don't think Daniel did nothing other than the knowledge of he's covering for a woman he loves. Now listen, people do a lot of crazy things for the people they love. I get it. I get it. I understand it. It still don't make it right. It don't make it right. But listen, I guarantee in this room, 90% of us would cover for somebody we loved.
He only looking to make the public see him looking.
Yeah.
They both said the same story, mom and step both know. And you're right, a man protects.
Yes. So I believe that he loves Malaya unconditionally. Even if she did something horrible, he still loves her. And we see things like this. Look at Stephen Stearns, his parents. They love him. They talk to him. They send him money in jail. And he brutally murdered a little girl while he was essaying her since she was 8 years old. So the majority of people are going to protect the ones they love, even sometimes when it's wrong and you shouldn't. And I believe he's in a situation where he loves this woman, and this woman's did something effing horrible, and he don't want to tell it. But in his heart, he's battling it. He's battling it because the text messages show you that he wants to, but he's not. In his interviews, he seems more concerned about the well-being of Malaya than the well-being of the children. Okay, so this ain't about the kids to Daniel. This to me is about Malaya to Daniel because he loves this woman and he's conflicted. Do I tell what happened? If I do, I'll never see Malaya again. She's going to be gone. And the reason he put these messages out, and I do believe this is the reason these messages came out, is because he don't have any direct communications with Malaya. And he wanted Malaya to hear that, that he could be the Daniel that she first met. But apparently the Daniel that we're seeing now is not the Daniel that was in the very beginning. They're two different people. Or he wouldn't be saying, I can be the old Daniel. You'd be the same Daniel. Okay? You'd be the same. Like, I'm the same. I don't change. Right? So I could never look at PJ and I'd be like, well, I'll be the Dolly you first met. I'm still the same crazy idiot fool that she met 3 years ago, right? 3 years later, I'm the same dude. It didn't change, right? So I don't know what he really meant. When people are able to change and like, you meet people and you get this perception of them, there's somebody that they really ain't. And then, 3 years later, all them demons and them bad habits and all that stuff comes out. I don't know. That made me a little sketchy of him. But what I do know about Daniel is he's a liar. In my opinion, he is a liar. If you lied, you lied. And if you're saying that this 10 a.m. disappearance time is not correct, then you're a liar. It don't matter if it's a little lie. It don't matter if it's a big lie. If it's to protect somebody, it's still a lie, no matter what. And in a disappearance case of children, there should never be no lies being told. Little lies or to cover big lies. Big lies or because you have something to do with the disappearance of these kids. Or you wouldn't be telling big lies. They have to tell a million little lies to cover it up. If something wasn't going on, y'all wouldn't be butting heads right now. Y'all would be on the same page, out there together, looking for these kids, and you're not. So to me, there's some conflict that was going on in this house before these kids went missing. Now, still, people allege to party. We've never been, I don't think any YouTuber yet has been able to prove there was a party there the night before. Leanne, thank you so much. Getting on that dolly train. Yep, my ex, I have always been told if it sounds too good.
Yep, my ex, I have always been told if it sounds too good, then it's not good. I learned the hard way.
Yes. If it sounds too good, it ain't good. And when you paint a perfect picture of the perfect family, I know it's a lie. Reggie, be good. Thank you for becoming a member. I know it's a lie because there's no perfect family. There's the Brady Bunch don't exist. It may have existed in the 60s, but families are more like Married with Children. Al Bundy and Peg. That is a real, or the show Shameless. Anybody seen Shameless? I think that's a real good presentation of what a real American family is like. There's always some confusion, something going on, some crazy family member. There's nothing that perfect. If it is, it's straight out the damn Twilight Zone, right? Shameless is Daniel. I love Shameless. And I think that paints a good picture of a real family. Things are going on. Things are happening in your family. There's no perfect family out there. And if you got a perfect family, I ain't saying it's impossible. I'm just saying the odds it's not good that you got a perfect family, right? Because I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo. What the hell am I doing here? I just don't belong here. A little bit of Radiohead. Okay, a little bit of Radiohead going on in the chat room. So are we going to get answers, or the police just going to give up on these kids? Well, we don't know what happened. We can't find them. Let's move on. And I feel like we're getting to that point. we're getting to that point where, I mean, I don't know. I think if they had a digital footprint, and in the beginning, I do think they were using the digital footprint when they said, hey, we're going to scale back the search. We're going to focus on key points and places, because at that point they had done took their phones and their electronics. So that's, I guarantee you, that's how they knew where they were at in the city to go get the cameras.
Brady Bunch was a lie. The dad was gay and died of AIDS. It was truly sad, but that speaks volumes.
Well, I mean, of course, it's a show. I don't expect it to be. But I'm just saying that there's no family in real life that are exactly like the Brady Bunch. All right. Maybe back in those days when times were different, there were families that were closer. But families today in age is mixed with a little bit of chaos. It's chaos. You either got that crazy cousin, weirdo uncle. You know, there's always somebody that is a drunk relative or something, somebody strung out on drugs. I mean, there's always something going on in a common family, you know, especially that has a bunch of siblings or a bunch of people. Bigger families is usually, the bigger the family is, the more chaos it usually is. And you know, when they paint the picture, their loving home, didn't sound, it sounded like BS to me. And if there's no love, you just have a house, you don't have a home. Okay. And if Daniel's being truthful that Malaya had this disconnect, then he knows how she treated these kids. You know, it just, the pictures in the story, his story, don't add up. Because before Daniel, Malaya looked like she was doing good and the kids were in great conditions. And I'm sure they were living in a better environment, just from the pictures you could tell, than that trailer that looks like it should be pushed off the edge of a cliff. So perfect families have carved out of cream cheese. I don't know. But let's open up the phone lines. I want to hear from some of you beautiful people. I want to hear your thoughts on this whole case. Give me 1 second. Let me get the phone lines open. And I will get the number on the screen for you. All right. Give me 1 second. All right. The number is up. 757. Okay. Get it out. Doug from Tennessee. Oh, Mav, close. I was close.
Doug ain't as fast.
I knew it was somebody that had the number saved, because I didn't get the number up. Usually, if the phone rings before the number's up, that means it's going to be a regular caller.
Plus, Doug has these wild theories and shit. You know what I'm saying? Mab knows what's going on.
Okay, well, tell us, Mab, what is going on? I need to know.
All right, here's what's going on. The mother got wind that the kids were in danger or there's drugs, but whatever her motivation was, she's a controlling person.
The mother.
She took it. The mother's mother.
Oh, the mother's mother. Okay. Grandma.
Okay, she is in the tribe.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so she arranged for those kids to be saved.
Okay.
From the situation that they were in.
Uh-huh.
And Malaya didn't even know it until her mother and her had that conversation. And then it was like, boom. Okay, everything changed at that second.
Okay. So the mother then hid the kids out on the reservation, and the kids are okay.
I don't think they hid on the reservation, the same reservation. So you have Indian tribes, they have different reservations all over different provinces, but the same tribe. So these kids
The
are at
Waltons, little
Hold on,
house,
hold on.
poor Charles. Every time he cried, I did too.
The Waltons. Okay. Little House on the Prairie.
So these kids are at a res, far away province, same tribe or related tribe. And I think within a year, Malaya will disappear and her mother will disappear. And they will live in obscurity on a reservation somewhere where they're not, easily found. I mean,
They're saying Malaya's mother is not native. It was her father. And I know her father was native. Now, I don't know about the mother.
Well, she's part of the tribe. And why did the tribe accept the kids right when they got abducted?
I thought
they denied them 2 or 3 other times. She applied for the kids to be part of the tribe 2 or 3 times, got denied. And then the day they get abducted, they accept.
Now, I don't know if the mother's a part of the tribe or not, but I know they're connected to the tribe because her lawyer, Malaya's lawyer, it's a chief's brother.
Chief.
Yeah.
Right. But the mother, Malaya has to be part of the tribe or the kids wouldn't be able to. Well, I guess the dad, they could get admitted through the dad. But the whole point is the tribe didn't accept the kids into the tribe until they were abducted. That doesn't make any damn sense at all. That's a sign. The chief's brother being the lawyer for Malaya, that's a sign. Okay, so I got 3 or 4 things pointing towards the tribe protecting these kids.
Okay.
That's what my gut's telling me.
All right. Well,
because there's no signs of abduction according to the RCMP. They know.
Yeah, but don't you think no other native would come forward and say, like Little Sitting Bull wouldn't come forward and go, "Hey, the kids are on the tribe."
Tribes are tight, especially in the upper echelons of the chiefs and the higher ups. Now you're drunk, dude.
And that's you think that's why she's so emotionless, because she knows that the kids are okay.
Yeah. She's not looking for them because she knows what.
Yeah, but you still get this hoax where you got the RCMP that's spent millions of dollars searching for these kids to be just a big hoax because you want to get away from a man. If you want to get away from a man, there's other ways to do it. You could take protective orders on him, grab the kids, and leave. He comes near you, put him in jail.
Okay, so just like Sebastian Rogers, this wasn't planned on being blown up. It wasn't for Raleigh Strange. Sebastian Rogers, none of us would know about him.
Yeah, well, this ain't blown up now. This is not even a big deal in Canada.
It's blowing up on YouTube, but it's not blowing up in Canada. The hope is it'll just die away just like every other
missing kids case.
100,000 missing kids case.
Yeah.
I'm saying.
All right, you may be right, Mab. I mean, I can't rule it out. I mean, anything's possible.
The Mabster be knowing some shit.
Okay, Mab. You be good, my brother.
All right, brother.
All right, peace.
Peace.
All right, so Mab believes these kids are on a reservation somewhere and that Jack and Lily are fine, and the mother is not talking because she knows the kids are fine. That would blow my mind, right? That would blow my mind why somebody would go through all that and have so many other people involved in just trying to get away from a man. Like, if you really want to get away from a man, you could say, hey, he's abusive. He puts his hands on me, take protective orders, restraining orders, stuff like that to get away from him. And, because, I mean, look, she's away from him now. What stops him from hurting her? Right? And what's the big deal about getting the kids away from him? I think the most important thing is her getting away from him. Dolly.
Man, he beat me for one phone call.
He beat you, Doug. He beat you.
He beat me, man. I didn't count right.
Okay, he believes these kids are on a reservation. What's your crazy theory there, Doug from Tennessee?
I'm starting to agree with him.
You agreeing with him that the kids are on a reservation?
And see, think about it now. He want to see his baby, and RNC said, hell no, you can't.
Uh-huh.
Why the hell can they keep that man from his baby? But for one reason only.
Abuse?
SA.
or alleged abuse.
And the only person that can hang him that knows about it is her. And if she gets upset,
Yeah, but
she gonna tell on him.
why ain't he been charged with anything yet? If he was if she's running scared, like, and here's my thing is, Child Protective Services shouldn't be able to tell him he can't see that kid because he hasn't been charged with anything.
Unless they ain't telling you everything. They ain't telling you
Oh,
everything.
I agree that they're not telling us everything.
And if it's SA on that man,
Mm-hmm.
he can't see his kid whatsoever, anything.
I mean, it could be something like that. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. But we got him taken up for her, but her trying to throw him under a bus.
Well, the reason she's taking up for her because she can hang him.
Possibly.
She's the one that could. She could the one that could hang him. She might have seen it.
Yeah, I mean, it does
And told grandma, and when grandma whispered in that ear, like he said, everything changed. Because she probably said, "We've got the children. They're in safe custody. Let's go and get out of here now."
Yeah, I mean,
And
you had all
he's
those
gone.
police around. I mean, I don't know. I think there is a reason that they're not letting him see the kid because, he hasn't been charged with anything. They never said he's like the prime suspect in a disappearance. So why can't he see his kid? I wonder if it's she took him as the reason he can't see her, or is it the social services really saying you can't have no contact with this child?
Unless you've been charged with a crime, they can't. There's no possible way to keep you from that child. It's your child.
Oh, I know. I agree. But in the beginning,
accused,
according to them text messages that leaked, if they are from Daniel, he was saying that the kid was going to go with his cousin. It had nothing to do with CPS. The kid was going to go with his cousin until all the craziness calmed down around the house. And then Malaya talked to the mother, and then everything changed. She took the kid, went with her mother, but he ain't making it out. And then, then he did say that the Child Protective Services wouldn't let him see the kid, but he never gave a reason why.
Because the grandmother has taken these children to the doctor, and it's been proven they have been bothered with, and that's why that boy cannot see them kids.
Well, that's a baby. I don't.
No, Malaya's little girl.
Oh, you talking about Lily?
Yes.
Yeah, but if that was the case, would they be out there searching the woods like that? Unless you saying she's found out and she done hid the kids.
What if?
Why not just tell on them if that was the case?
What if they went to the place that he had been essaying these children and to gain evidence?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
There's something up with that, man. You can't keep me from my daughter if I've not done nothing wrong.
I would say the same thing if you ain't been charged with anything, because people can accuse you of a lot of stuff. I've been accused of things I didn't do. Should I be punished for things I'm accused of, or should I be punished for things that have been proven I've done? I would say you only punish people when you can prove they done it, not when somebody just says makes some crazy allegation against you.
And just like Matt was saying, there's different laws when you go into these Indian reservations than from the United States or the Canada. You've got different laws that go with that damn Indian shit.
I agree. I agree that they have their own little tribal laws and they handle it for the most part themselves inside their communities.
But if he's done something, it's got to be on Daniel doing something, or they would not keep him from his child.
Yeah.
You can't keep me from my child if I've not done.
Well, he's been accused of something. What, we don't know, but I'm guaranteed they're accusing him of something.
And Malaya can hang him. She can hang him because she's seen it. She's told her grandma or mama, and mama's had that baby checked, and it's true. And she said it was true.
Alleged.
We had the children checked. Allegedly. It was true. And whispered that in her ear. She got her little girl and hauled ass.
I
ain't
saying it's impossible. I'm just saying I think it's highly unlikely.
And well, she hauled ass and cut all communications.
She did.
And the police said And the police said, do not give no interviews or talk to him or anything.
I don't think the police would tell you that. You have the right to kind of do what you want. And if you being charged, especially if you ain't been charged with nothing, she has her own rights too. All right, Doug, you be good, my brother.
But tell Matt that I miscounted. That's the only reason he got me.
All right, peace.
Bye, PJ.
He said I miscounted. All right, I got time for a few more calls, and then I got to get out of here. I got to take care of some business paperwork today. You got to turn me down in the background.
Oh, I got you on.
Okay.
I just wanted to tell you, I think the parents had something to do with it.
All right, now who's this? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Iowa.
Iowa. Okay, Iowa. And you think the parents have something to do with it? And what reason you think the parents have something to do with it?
Because kids don't just go missing.
That is true.
And they're being sketchy.
They're definitely being sketchy. The mother for sure. The stepdad is a little Chris Watts-ish, but I mean, at least he's in the meeting.
I can tell you for a fact, when my daughter died, I screamed so loud that I woke the whole neighborhood up.
Uh-huh.
She died a crib death.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, they do not act like parents that lost a kid.
I don't think so either.
They act like parents that didn't want kids.
Well, I mean, they kept Meadow. Meadow's not missing, so I mean, apparently they want at least one kid.
But the thing is, they're not acting like somebody that's in grief.
No.
They are not acting normal.
No, I agree with you. In my opinion, I think the same way you do. I don't think they're acting normal.
There's something hinky somewhere. Either they done away with them,
mm-hmm.
or an accident happened, and they just don't want to say.
Something transpired in that home. I believe that something happened at that property, and the people at that property know. If either is it Daniel, Malaya, his mama, his brother, there's people that know for sure. In my opinion,
if somebody's not saying something, because kids just don't go missing, and if you hear kids, you know when somebody's gone out the damn door.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I grew up raising my niece and my nephew, and I had them kids nonstop.
Yeah.
And I kept track of each one of them. I knew right where everybody was.
Well, I mean,
and one time, my sister wanted me to babysit, and I said no, because I was on a pain medicine, which is a narcotic. So I would not ever watch somebody's kid under the influence of drugs.
Yeah, I can understand that. That makes perfect sense.
And I wasn't even married at the time, and my husband now, he decided he'd watch her because I would not, because I was under the influence of a narcotic.
Okay.
And I would not take the responsibility of being responsible for a 4-year-old.
Yeah. I don't blame you. Not at all.
You know, and these parents do not act normal.
I agree with you 100%. I totally agree with you. I would think you would see more from the mother, her trying to be in the public, her trying to bring awareness to the case, and she's not doing those things. She's just happy to, she makes out to be like she's fine when the kid's gone.
Yeah, she acts like she's happy that they're gone.
Yeah.
She doesn't act normal. She doesn't act like a mother missing a child.
Yeah. What do you think about these kids possibly being on a reservation?
Nope.
Yeah, I don't.
If that was the case, her mother wouldn't have showed up.
Yeah.
Her mother wouldn't have drove all that way to show up.
Yeah. I agree. Hey, well, look, I appreciate you calling.
All righty. Thank you.
All right, peace.
Bye.
All right, guys. Y'all give me 1 second. My dogs are barking like crazy. Okay. I got to check on my dogs. I check on my animals apparently more than these people were checking on their kids. So give me 1 second. Okay, I am back. Let me open the phone lines back open. And like I said, I got time to take a couple calls before I got to get out of here and handle some paperwork today. Dolly.
Hey, Dolly.
Hey.
This is Cindy from Tennessee.
Hey, Cindy.
Hey. I don't think them kids are on no reservation.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think you would end up in jail, and if you were just trying to get away from a man, there's better ways to get away from a man than to do all that lying and hiring lawyers and all that.
And I don't think CPS has got them either, because they wouldn't be searching like that if they was.
Yeah. Yeah, CPS was shooting the kids. The police wouldn't be spending all that money on helicopters and drones and searchers and doing all that if the kids were like safe somewhere.
Right. Well, I just thought I'd put my 2 cents in. I haven't talked to you in a while. You know, I had hip surgery. I fell and broke my hip.
How's your hip doing that?
In January. It's doing better, but it's done something to my knee, and I'm fixing to have I got to have a whole complete knee replacement Wednesday. So
wow,
going at it again.
Okay, well, we're praying.
So it's just been rough.
Yeah,
it's been a rough time ago.
Well,
so
take care of yourself, and
I'm trying.
We'll continue to hope for the best for you over here.
Well, I've got a package ready to go in the mail whenever I can get it out to the mailbox.
Okay, well, no rush.
To the post office.
Yeah, no rush.
Well,
so, just take care of yourself. That's the most important thing.
All right. See you later, Dolly.
All right, you be good. Peace.
Peace.
Like she said, she had a hip replacement. I never had a problem with my hip. One day, this is a little squirrelish. There was a dog food bowl on the floor. Water bowl, and I don't know, I went to step over it, and it was a little bit of a long step. I don't know why I even did it, but when I did, my hip popped, like you crack a knuckle, but it popped twice. It said boop boop, and I was like, oh right, because it kind of hurt. Then slowly after that, I started having hip pains. Like it just kind of never. It didn't like terrible pain, but like every now and then now my hip hurts. Like when I went and rode that horse the other day, I went horseback riding. I got off and that same hip was just hurting but everybody says that horseback riding is kind of bad on your hips. But my hip was all sore, and now every now and then when it starts to rain or the weather gets cold, my hip hurts. And the first thing I think, I'm gonna be one of these old ass men that need a damn hip replacement, right? But I never had no problem with my hip before that stepped over that dog food bowl. And now ever since then, I have like this aching pain in my hip. So yeah, I guess you got to be careful out there how you treat yourself. And as you get older, your body, gets a little weaker. Arthritis, Dolly. I guess I got it in my hand real bad too. I think I don't either that or I pulled this finger somehow. because this finger has been killing me. I can't even make a complete fist with it. But you know, I am getting up there in age a little bit, and I'm starting to fall apart. I'm trying to do the best I can to maintain, right? But I just got this feeling that I'm gonna be in one of those hover rounds before this is all said and done. So I'm not trying to wish that, speak it into existence. But PJ's always like, "Don't say that shit. Don't say it." Pull my finger. Now it ain't nothing like that. It's just like it ain't like it's jammed. It's like it's like I tore something in it. So it's kind of sore at all times, you know, but I'm all right. I'll survive. Dolly, my hip hurts for like 2 months. Then I had a kidney stone, and after that, hip never hurt again. Okay, well maybe I need kidney stones. I don't know. I don't want kidney stones. Connie, thank you for joining. But I guess, you know, age catches up with everybody, and I guess I'm just one of those people. Now, here's the thing: is continue to pray that these kids are recovered safely. They're out there somewhere. You know, everybody today agrees that kids just don't vanish. Now, in my opinion, you know, we heard, you know, Mab and Doug, they called in and they said they think this kid may be on an Indian reservation out there somewhere. And that may explain why the chief's brother is her lawyer. I don't know. I'm going with Michaela with a candlestick in the ballroom, okay, of the trailer. I don't even know if a trailer has a ballroom. I'm not quite. I don't think it does. Okay, I don't think they're big enough to have a ballroom. But I'm still going with Malaya with the candlestick in the foyer. How about that? All right. This mother is super suspicious, and I'm not letting Daniel off freely. Okay, one, because he has the same tap out shirt, and two, because he was there when these kids went missing. To me, these people have some real explaining to do. And if them text messages are for Daniel, and he's openly admitting that some of these things are not true that's been said, you need to come out and talk. And the police need to be checking to see if he sent those messages. Because if he's lying about anything, even the tiniest thing, he needs to be re-questioned. He needs to be interrogated. They need to find the answers for what happened to these two kids. Yes, what one knows, so does the other, in my opinion. And I agree with that. They were both in that house that night. And I've never been in a quiet trailer that didn't have squeaky floors, the doors make noise, you know, and they're like, oh, we didn't hear nothing, blah, 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 blah. And their stories in the beginning was super scripted. Oh, they'll get in a car with anybody. They'll talk to strangers. It's just taking away oh, somebody else did this. We got nothing to do with it. That's the vibe I got from them in the beginning, that somebody else has done something, not them, and the kids didn't run off into the woods. You got to remember, them kids have been there for 2 years. They never ran off into the woods before. But this day, they just going to magically, oh, let's go run off into the woods. I ain't saying it couldn't happen. I'm just saying I don't believe that did happen. So kids ain't in the woods. The kids ain't been abducted. There's 2 people, well, 3 that we know for sure. Daniel's mother, Daniel, and Malaya, that were there at that property. One of these people hold the key to where these children are. And I don't know, like I said, I ain't familiar with how Canada does their interrogations. But listen, Canada, Mountie police up there, if y'all watching this, y'all give me full immunity, lock me in a room with Daniel and the mother, and then within 10 minutes, I will come out and tell you where those kids are. But just remember, you can't prosecute me for any crimes that I violate while I'm in that room. And I guarantee you, within 10 minutes, I would walk out and tell you where those children were. Guaranteed. All right. Give you the dolly guarantee. Right. Usually I guarantee no money back. Okay. That's usually one of my guarantees. You ain't getting your money back. Right. But in this case, it's a dolly guarantee that I would hold. I would know where those kids were in 10 minutes. So I'm going to get ready to get out here. And speaking of no money back, check out our merch store, right? We don't give refunds. That's why I said no money back. But we got shirts, hoodies. We sell soaps, lotions, shampoos. Dolly, best soap in the game. Handmade by these little hands right here. I just restocked some of the stuff. I don't know if PJ's put it back on the store yet because I just made lotions. I just made body washes. Now I didn't make a ton. Okay. I made like cotton candy. I made like pink sugar. I didn't make as many as I usually make because I just didn't feel like it, to be honest. I just got to get done some things that were already pre-ordered. So, but there is some, like, say I had 6 cotton candy sold. I made 12. I didn't just make the 6 that I sold. I made 12. So that means there's probably 6 of these, 6 of that. And if PJ's watching and she can, I'll make sure she puts those things up on the merch store tonight because there's body wash. I made lotion, all the t-shirts. I know some people have been waiting on some t-shirts. I got all the graphics and everything done for the t-shirts the other night. And those t-shirts will go out Friday. They will ship. Okay. So this ain't just for people at this channel because I make t-shirts for Elevated Truth. I make t-shirts for Illuminati. So I got those shirts. If you're got a shirt of any one of those creators too, they will go out Friday. All right. So I just want to touch in on that. And of course, our merch store is easy to find. BuyDollySoap.com. Okay. Now the soap and lotion, if you're watching for the first time, is handmade, all natural ingredients, and you will absolutely love it. Right. A lot of people think when I joke about the soap and lotions, it's not a joke. Definitely not a joke. We sell soaps, lotions, body wash, scent rollers, a whole ton of stuff. Candles, but I think we're out of candles. We only make candles at certain times of the year. So wax melts, we make wax melts. We sell mystery boxes where you can buy a box and we fill it with shit and send it to you. So check out some of that stuff. It's a great way to support the channel, help us pay these light bills. And Dolly gotta eat. Okay. So make sure you check it out. And I will see you guys later tonight. Okay. I'll be back later tonight. I don't know what we're going to be covering tonight. We might cover some of the protesting in New York and LA. I'm not quite sure yet. Okay. Or we might just come back and talk true crime, but I'll be back sometime later tonight. Like I said, I got some office work that I got to handle with my accountant and some tax stuff. So I will talk to you guys later this evening. Be good. Peace.